I'll let you take the lead.
Because I'm the leader. But the current leader. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Struggle. It's Alexia.
What up, Studio CEO?
So this video, we're gonna do a review on the Avengers Endgame.
The movie did 1.2 billion.
We got our tickets like 2 months early, right?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
Do this review later.
We saw it Friday morning, so. Anyway, so we're gonna get into it, but before we spoil anything for you guys, we wanted to quickly talk about the ending of Infinity War.
I thought what everybody thought.
What was that? What did everybody think?
They're like, oh, the bad guy won.
I don't think he was a bad guy though.
Well, in the terms of like, because in the sense that for 21 movies
he was an antagonist in the like cinematically, but
he was,
I don't think.
But I think we were more leaning towards the antagonists who were Captain America. We spent more time with them. Yeah, sorry. All right. Wow. But we spent more time with them, Captain America, Hulk, so on and so forth. So when we finally got to Thanos, yes, like Infinity War was more his movie, but you still kind of sided with the heroes because you've kind of grown with them, developed with them. So
okay, yeah, he wasn't a hero, but I don't think he was.
But he was a hero of his own story. That's what every villain is, right? The way how they went about it, though, I thought was cool, and I like Thor didn't go for the head; he went for the chest, and he said what he said. Then they had that little place with little Gamora in the spirit realm, I think. I don't know. They didn't really explain it in Infinity War, but yeah, it was cool.
Thanos doing what he did and succeeding. At first, you want to.
Thanos again?
Thanos. Obviously, you wanted to side with Marvel, the Avengers, because you were like, oh, we gotta stop him. He's not doing that right, blah, blah. But he took the time to, like, before he did it, explain his reasoning. And not that, like, I flipped and I was like, oh, okay, kill Iron Man. Like, my favorite. That's not what I was saying. But I was just like, if he was going to be like, listen, the world is corrupt, there's problems, we don't have enough food for everybody, if we reduce the population of the universe by 50%, then whoever stays gets to thrive, and that makes total sense. The only thing is, who gets to decide who stays and who doesn't? Thanos didn't decide that either, though. He snapped his fingers, and it was a random 50. He didn't choose the 50. It was like I don't know what the algorithm was. His idea, it made sense, because we, like Earth alone, who knows that there's more life out there, we are destroying ourselves. I mean,
we got 12 years left, guys, until the planet is fucked up.
He said it. I don't know which one.
It's true. It's true.
Anyway.
That's why that topic. Save the planet.
Global warming, who we're choosing as our president, greed, you know what I mean? Like, modern medicine.
Snap away from
pros and cons, whatever. I'm just saying. Thanos' like idea might have been right and his execution might have been wrong. But either way, I didn't see him as like a villain.
If you guys remember the very first Avengers movie, at the very end credit scene, what they do, they show him doing a little smile and he's like, I'm gonna have to do it myself. And then they show him at the end the Guardian. So they've been teasing him as like this overarching bad guy over all the bad guys we've seen so far. So obviously they paint him in a light like he's the villain. It's just what Infinity War did was they made it his movie in a sense, and it made you rationalize and sympathize. I'm like, okay, like, I don't agree with your method, but I understand your point of view.
So let's put a pin in him having to do it himself, because that's going to come back later. I don't want to spoil anything yet.
A big thing, people were wondering, damn, it's 3 hours long.
So it's Titanic.
Yeah, look, y'all feel that.
No, I was sitting in the theater 3 hours went by, I had no idea.
And
I was
for
like,
Titanic?
I'm talking about Avengers.
Oh,
both, who cares? Both, whatever.
I thought the movie was very well paced. Also, just for anyone who hasn't seen the movie and you're wondering if the trailer spoiled anything, I'm telling you right now, the trailers literally show you what's in the first 15 minutes of the movie. That's it. Everything else is a surprise.
A surprise!
So many things they did, I was like, okay, I expected it, but the way they didn't explain certain things, I appreciate it more because it wasn't expected.
They left very few loose ends too, like overall.
They developed some new ones.
Yeah, I mean from the last Avengers movies.
Which is thinking. We'll get into that though. The first hour of the movie does not feel like a superhero movie at all. It feels like a drama.
I don't know what you're talking about, but if that's the case, that's why I love Marvel, because they're like, as opposed to DC, Marvel has that like humanistic, humanistic, like they have emotions, their weaknesses are like more real. They're not,
But that's what's always made Marvel good, and not shitting on DC, but that's why I feel Batman has always been their most liked villain character, because he's just a human. He's not, you can't relate to Superman. He's like, I can't relate to that.
Yeah, but he barely has feelings himself. Don't even get me started on DC. It doesn't matter. Marvel is the shit. Iron Man, my favorite. Who's your favorite?
My favorite? Captain America. I like Cap. Cap's my guy.
Alright.
Okay,
Anyway.
he's the leader.
Nah, I like all of them, but I don't know what that smirk was for.
Just saying,
So
Cap's
at this point in the video, we're gonna get into some spoilers.
Alright, so
real
if you
big
guys,
ones.
at
If you
this
haven't seen
point,
it,
cut off the video, go elsewhere. Alright. When I was watching stuff, I kind of had a feeling the quantum realm was going to be a big factor and they were going to be doing time travel. The way they explained the time travel, though, was really good. It wasn't like typical from what we've seen on the other movies, and they addressed that. Also, side tangent, I want to give a shout out to the mouse that let out Ant-Man. He's the true VIP of this whole movie, because if he didn't step on that thing that let Ant-Man out in the quantum realm, they wouldn't have known shit. They wouldn't be able to do anything, because Ant-Man kind of came up with the idea. So
first of all, it was a rat, not a mouse. Second of all, you don't know that Tony didn't have like the ability, because he's the one that did it. All Ant-Man did was bring the idea.
Yeah, if they
Ant-Man
had
brought the
the idea,
idea, but you're saying that my man wouldn't have thought of it like maybe years later. You know what I mean? Like, thank God Ant-Man came out, but Ant-Man came out 5 years later. Why, if he came out the next year? You know what I mean? So 5 years.
Tony Stark had 5 years to figure it out. Now my
Yeah,
man was
but
like, I got a
he didn't
fan,
want to. He didn't want to.
Yeah,
They made him want to, because he remembered that his boy Spider-Man was disappeared. He's like, what do I got to do to get my man back? That's what I'm saying. So how do you know how long would it have taken him to, you know, spray the water on his picture frames on accident and see his picture of him and Spider-Man, and he'd be like, oh yeah, I do miss that dude. Let me go get him.
But I do have a daughter and wife that I love very much.
But with the stones, you can do whatever. So you could snap and be like, I want to bring everyone back, but whatever happened the last 5 years, keep it the way it was. Boom! And that's what the Hulk did.
That's another thing. Captain Marvel, if you're worried that you have to see
Hold
Captain
on,
Marvel,
you're jumping around now?
I'm going
Okay.
back to the beginning. If you're worried that you have to see Captain Marvel to see this movie to understand what's going on, don't worry about it. Captain Marvel's like barely in it.
She doesn't really explain anything either. Like,
Yeah.
She like shows up for like 3 scenes.
Yeah, and like in that one scene where they go to Thanos, yeah, they don't play. They like straight like fuck this dude up. They just cut his arm
But
off,
he
chopped his head. I was like, damn, alright.
But he didn't care, you know what I mean?
No,
I
Thanos
think
didn't care.
if he disappeared with the snap, he'd be fine.
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't wish that he stayed and he could see with the whatever. Like, he was like, I did what I needed to do, I am inevitable, blah, blah, blah. At the very end, too, when he was fighting Captain Marvel again, I don't see how this girl could fly through ships and destroy, like, entire armies, and then she couldn't take the glove off of Homeboy.
Oh, okay, alright. So she's saying like that. I was about to say, I was like, she did that shit in her movie blowing up shit. Yeah, I mean, her like, and that's the thing about her power scaling. It's like, I blow up a whole ship, I can probably take out a planet, but take a glove off your hand?
That reminds me of Superman, also why DC's stupid, because Superman can do all this extra shit just like Captain Marvel, but like, he can't do the simplest thing.
Yeah.
And he has to fight Batman, who's a human, like,
Facts.
yeah, whatever.
Which is smart. But after they kill him, they're like, okay, and he used the stones to destroy themselves just so they couldn't undo what he had done. And then 5 years passed, and they're just living with the aftermath of what Thanos did.
When Hulk Banner had to explain that, I had to actually like take a minute and think about it. When he was like, if you go back in the past, the future becomes your past, and the past becomes your present. And he was explaining this, and it made a lot of sense, but then it didn't, and I was like, oh my god, this movie's amazing.
But that's the thing with time travel. Time travel is an easy out, but things get really messy, and we'll get into that.
Okay, you know what I absolutely loved? You know how all the like Marvel superheroes have their side stories as well as Avengers?
Yeah.
Almost all of them, especially in this movie, had their side stories, and the side stories played out. So if you notice, like Iron Man, when he found out how to make the time travel work, to enter and exit in the same spot, his wife, she was like, yeah, you could do that, you could do whatever you want, but would you be able to rest? And then at the end of the movie, when Iron Man saved the motherfucking world, she comes to him and she was like, you can rest now.
Oh, alright. The thing about the quantum, though, to kind of go into that, in actual time, how they explained it, is 5 seconds can pass if you're outside of the quantum realm, but however the amount of time you need in the quantum realm is extended for whatever. So for us, it takes 5 seconds. For you, it could take 70 years to be in there. So they all kind of jumped in there, and it was cool what they did because they revisited so many older movies and events, and they kind of plotted it out to like when certain Infinity Stones were there at the same time. And then that was cool that they went back to New York when the first Avengers happened, and then they had to go back further in time. And I thought what was really cool is Captain America got to see the love of his life, but she was already married, but she still had a picture of him on the table, so she still wanted to date. But also Iron Man got to meet his father, which I thought was really cool because he kind of got some closure and was able to kind of give that advice to his father, but also get some advice back.
That was great, yeah.
I felt bad for Black Widow and Hawkeye because there was nobody to tell them like what needed to be done in order to get the Soul Stones. So they're just like, all right, cool, we're gonna get this mess, and
but
Red
who
Skull
knew
was
besides
there.
Thanos?
Yeah, exactly. So no one was able to tell them that they knew that was cool with them, and the dude that's trying to kill him ain't gonna tell them, So that sucked. And I felt bad for Black Widow because at the end when Tony Stark dies, he gets the stones. Just a big funeral about him, and I'm like, damn, y'all forgot about Black Widow? Like, y'all couldn't put up a picture of her or like a little flower? Like Hawkeye said something, and
I
that's
didn't
really
think about
it.
that though until you said it, so I don't know if that flew because they reminisced for a minute on the lake when they all came back. You know what I mean?
On Tony Stark.
No, I'm saying when they came back from the realm and they were all crying about it. Like she was the glue that basically held the team together. I mean, Hawkeye and neither. They weren't really super powered people. They were just awesome. You know what I mean? They didn't have special powers like lightning.
Well, Black Widow supposedly, I don't know if they explained she's supposed to have her own movie, I guess prequel. She has superpowers, not like she's kind of like Captain America. She has super strength. She's a little bit advanced. She's not like a normal person.
That wasn't ever explained.
Exactly, so they might explain her in the movie, but in the comics.
I know she's getting her own movie. It's probably a blast in the past.
My favorite fight scene of the movie was when Captain America got Thor's hammer and started whooping ass on Thanos. I was like, yes.
I was oblivious in that moment. I didn't know what was going to happen. But as soon as he picked it up, I started crying from happiness. I was like, ah!
There was a shot where he gets him, he uppercuts him, and just that frame, I'm like, oh, that's a
oh my god,
shot.
it was so crazy.
And another big moment, I got goosebumps on top of goosebumps, is when Captain America gets fucked up, his shield gets fucked up by Thanos, and you hear Falcon on the walkie, and he's on your left, and then all the Avengers show up, and he's like, Avengers assemble, and I'm like, oh, what's about to go down? It was crazy.
That fucks me up too. I cried there too.
Yeah, that was good, and then, again, and that last hour of the movie is crazy.
And you don't even know it's an hour. It feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like it's over. Oh.
Yeah, and I was sitting there with my jaw on the ground because I was like, in no other movie would you see all this and it be plausible. You had a freaking unicorn with a raccoon and a giant man and a purple dude with a nutsack as a chin, dude.
With a what?
Thanos got a nutsack chin, a talking tree, a god of thunder. I'm like, and it makes sense. You're not like, this is weird.
It's a comic book.
Exactly. But they built it so well. That's what I'm saying. That's a compliment to Marvel that they built the universe so well that they can introduce these crazy, wild things and you don't question
Black
it
Widow
like
had
this.
said that earlier in the movie. She was like, nothing's crazy. I get emails from a raccoon. I really like the scene though when Peter Parker introduced himself to Captain Marvel. When he was like, how are you gonna get through that army? And then everyone was like, she has help. And all the C-list superheroes, not even B-list, the sidekicks, the C-list superheroes were all like, we got this. And it was Wakanda's sister and fucking Stark's wife. And I was like, ah! Literally, oh my god!
Yo, they all the female superheroes. It was a nod to the A-Force.
Oh my god!
So
good.
it was cool because when it happened, they kind of did something like that in Infinity War when Black Widow was fighting the one alien, then Okoye came, and then Scarlet Witch came, and they kind of triple teamed her. But this one was on another level, and I like how they did it because for a second I didn't want it to feel like it was shoehorned in, oh, we're trying to make a statement for women, because I would have felt the same way if it was a bunch of black heroes out of nowhere, but they did it in a way it was dope. I was like, alright, cool. Yeah, they didn't seem shoehorned in, so that was really cool.
That's true. Plus, Captain Marvel didn't need the help. She could just shoot through them because she killed a ship. But then again, she couldn't take her glove off, so maybe she didn't.
Maybe she did need them,
Who knows?
There was a lot of little Easter eggs. Captain America was supposedly a Hydra agent, on the low, for the Red Skull. She was going crazy, like ridiculous
like,
over there.
crying from having. I cried like 4 times. Some
The
movies
movie is
twice
funny.
already.
The movie is funny.
It's just
funny as
yeah. I also do like though Doctor Strange and Iron Man's little like side conversation the entire movie because it wraps around the whole thing when he was like, didn't you say there was 1 in 14 billion chance of us winning?
Yeah, it's like, and if I tell you, it won't happen.
Right, but then when Iron Man had the stones and Doctor Strange went like this. Well, he went like this, and I was like, what does that mean? But he was trying to go like this.
So specific.
Whatever. That's why I didn't get it though, because he went like this. Like that's the reason I didn't understand what he was trying to do. Yeah, but I guess he was trying to say, you have 1 in 14 billion chances to make this right.
Or you're the one. It could have been interpreted many ways.
Either way.
I noticed there was a kid that a lot of people are like, who the heck was
Yeah,
that?
I asked who was that. I told him what to ask because I was like, I should know who that is, but I don't. And then I was like, actually, no, I have no idea who that is.
That's the kid from Iron Man 3 when Iron Man, like his whole thing got messed up and Pepper got taken by the guy that was doing that fire stuff they were doing, that pyro stuff. The guy that Cillian Murphy played. Not Cillian Murphy.
What kid? What?
The kid, you seen Iron Man 3?
I've seen all of them.
Alright, so in Iron Man 3, remember there's this kid where he's like, where like the stew kind of runs out of juice after they blow up his home, and he stays at this kid's house and he calls Tony Stark the mechanic.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's that kid. He's all grown up. That's also the same kid that played in Jurassic World.
Why was he there? He wasn't in the entire movie.
Well,
Was he?
No, he wasn't there in the entire movie. He was there in Iron Man 3 the whole time.
I meant the Endgame. He wasn't in Endgame, so why was he at the funeral?
Because I'm sure he had a relationship with Iron Man and he heard about it on the news because Iron Man was only like the most famous superhero.
That must mean it's significant then, that his presence, being, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was at the funeral. They wouldn't show him there if it wasn't significant. A lot of people were just confused about it.
I was confused.
I also like how they wrapped it up with Iron Man dying because he's the one that started it.
I didn't like that.
And he was the one that kind of ended it. So I felt it was necessary to happen. It had to. I mean, we lost a lot. We lost Black Widow. We lost Iron Man. We definitely lost Captain America because Homeboy was like a week away from having a stroke. And Vision is gone.
It's ageist.
Also, Professor Hulk was a thing in the movie, which I thought was really cool. He was funny. Thor was fat, like really fat.
A lot of people were upset about that.
Yeah, I know a lot of women were, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he's so hot though. I started crying too when Spider-Man was like kill mode and then like Spider-Man cried. I was like, yeah!
Oh, I cried out of happiness. I was
I was like, yo, that's lit! Like I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I like how these little things that were like say out of all the movies, they kind of brought them back in. Yeah, it definitely wraps up everything. Like if they don't do another Avengers, like if they never did another movie afterwards, like this wraps it up nicely, but they are gonna do another Avengers.
It was just annoying how even though like there was 4 superheroes on Thanos, he still whipped their asses.
Yo, Thanos?
And Captain America took the headbutt, like cool, you can take a headbutt, but you can't take off a glove. Like that bothers me. Like, did I say America?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
I said Marvel in my head.
In
my head, I said. Yeah, I do say a lot of things in my head.
We're gonna go into the inconsistencies now. Just the little problems that I found with it. The whole time travel thing, I explained it. It's not like Back to the Future. Like if you go back in the past, you can't change or interact with the past because then it changes the future. When Captain America went back, there were some things that just didn't make sense because, all right, the Tesseract, they broke it so Tony Stark could put it in his glove like a gem. But in order to put it back in the timeline where it was so it didn't alter that reality, it would have to be back into a cube. How did Captain America put it back into a cube? Also,
that's not an inconsistency because he was gone for as long as he needed to be. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, because how is he gonna put it back into a cube? Like they obviously have the Tesseract. They didn't know it was a gem until the second movie, until Age of Ultron. So it's like they didn't know, and he's like, "Here y'all go." I was like, "What the hell is this?" So there's that. When he had the ether.
But what else is he gonna do? Inject it back into Thor's girlfriend?
Well, that's another thing. That's the ether.
No,
that's
come on.
That's the ether. That's the original way. Inject it back in that. Sorry, Jane. Gotta put
well,
that back
how do you
in
know that in the quantum realm, as you go back in time, the stones in your hands change with the time?
Because they couldn't. Because remember when they were doing that with Ant-Man, and that's when Tony Stark had to come with the GPS thing, because he's like, yeah, time travel was tricky. You guys weren't traveling through time.
Yeah,
time was traveling through him. Time was traveling through him. So when you have the items, time isn't traveling through the item. You're traveling through time. So the item remains the same.
So you're telling me Captain America couldn't be traveling through the quantum realm, let it go, and then show up because of the momentum of the whatever, and he showed up
just said, like, he lets it go.
First of all, time travel is already bullshit, so how are you going to tell me that makes no sense after time travel, obviously.
I'm not saying no made no sense about. I don't know how he did it. And then he also had to return the Soul Stone. Like, what, he went over there like, yo, can we get like Widow back? I kind of got a receipt. Let me get the Soul Stone.
Well, Black Widow didn't come back though. He probably was just like,
Exactly.
here you go. Because how could the Soul Stone be given to Thanos and to Hawkeye?
Well, it was two different realities.
Two different realities,
Yeah.
but so how do you know that reality, whatever he did, he was like, yeah, he just put it back.
And what, the Captain America, I'm sure Captain America probably wilded out when he
Because
went
what
over
happened
there.
to the floating red guy after the Soul Stone?
Captain
He
America
just
fucked him
disappears?
up because that's his rival. He was like, I gotta get this back. Oh shit, you here? And he went crazy.
What?
I'm just saying.
You're making shit up.
Nah, good thing about it. People, y'all know what I'm
No,
saying.
he's wrong.
And then the other thing that I'm trying to, this one was funny. I loved it because I was like, oh my boy, like he got what he deserved because Captain America had a hard life, and then in the end he stays there and he kind of has a whole life with Peggy Carter. But Bucky and Falcon are like look behind him, and then just like he's like sitting there. I'm like, what? Did he like kind of like sneak there with the shield like before they even materialize? I'm like,
He been there the whole time.
no, he did.
Yes, he did. That's how it works.
He had to jump into the quantum realm in order for him to be old and present day.
No, because he didn't come back as an old man. That was present day for him.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, he just materialized there, that he was like, oh,
No,
let me
like
just
in the
sneak out.
alternate reality or whatever, his younger self was fighting and he was back there like, oh shit, they're almost done.
Yeah, but you're saying
Because
they
you
didn't,
know what's gonna happen.
you're saying they didn't notice him before?
No, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
No, because they didn't notice them in the other Avengers movies either. You can't see your double. The only one that did that was Nebula. You can't see your double when you're time traveling.
they
So
also
the
their
old
double. Captain
America-
America fought his double.
But he didn't know he was his double. He thought he was Loki. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, but he was saying certain things. Oh, Bucky's still alive. He had the whole thing with Peggy Carter. So Captain America's like, wait, how do you know these things? And he just had to go to sleep, my boy. I'm just saying, it was cool, but I could tell it's for dramatic effect. Like what Captain America was like, hold on, they gonna go see.
If you're gonna like literally rip apart a comic book on this level, then the whole movie was a piece of shit
No, it
then.
wasn't a
Because
piece of
trees
shit.
don't say I am Groot.
So explain in future
Invalid.
movies
Invalid.
because Loki is getting his own spin-off series, and in that one reality, he got the Tesseract. So I'm sure they're going to address
Okay, so
that.
the real inconsistencies here, which is what I'm about to say.
Oh wow, okay, guys. Always even the real.
Just
Only
saying.
Alexia. Go ahead. You
No,
got the mic.
for real. Because I know Captain America's your favorite, but there was something wrong with his storyline.
Yeah,
Because
there's something wrong with you.
when they went back even further to get the Tesseract from 1970, that didn't necessarily make sense with his girl because they were in the 40s, right? 45 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But she wasn't like 9 or 10. She was a teenager. So yeah, she was married, whatever. There's no way she would have looked that young. She would have been like an old married woman. Like,
That's another thing.
because that would have been 30 plus years. She was already, what, 20? So she would have been 50. No 50-year-old looks like that, especially back in the 70s. So that's what I'm saying. Also, on the same exact line, Ant-Man, when he came back 5 years later, his daughter was legit a teenager. Like, his daughter, they ended
she
the
grew
movie.
mad.
That's what I'm saying. His daughter ended, like, she was 6 or something, right? 5 years, 5 plus 6 is 11. She wasn't about to be, like, 17. She was 11. That girl was not 11. Those are the only two things, like, I know time travel's blah, but that was definitely not right.
But let me touch on that because Captain America said something when he was old on the bench, and Sam was like, "Oh, like, so he finally got with that girl," and he's like, "I'm not gonna say nothing." And now that you say it, she was married, and Captain America went back, so he did some dirty stuff, messed up that marriage, and got with her.
You don't know how
Well, I
far
mean, that's
back he went. It could have been farther back than before she got married.
It's still like he
If
made
you went
them-
back to the first time when they got a Tesseract,
Yo, he
even
Thanos-
if she was married in the 70s, she would have been 50. She wouldn't have looked like that. That was wrong.
Yo, he Thanos that relationship though, real quick. Captain America messed up. I still like him, but you know, whatever. Love is love, right?
When past Nebula came back and she opened the portal so that Thanos could come in again and with his army, fine, like that makes sense.
I was waiting for you to say
But
this.
when the first ship like crashed through the entire thing, it broke. Like, how are you gonna say the rest of the army and those huge like lizard things?
Yo,
came
these
through?
dudes sent all
Like-
the quantum realm.
That one thing could have came and with Thanos in it, that's it. Like his whole motherfucking army came out and it was
Whole
like,
army,
where'd you
whole
come
shit.
from? Like
Yeah.
they didn't build a new one in the past of whatever. Like that's. I mean, it was necessary for his whole army to be there, whatever. When the first ship came through, that shit destroyed the quantum machine.
That was OD. I was
Yeah,
like, damn,
destroyed
bro.
that shit.
It actually made sense because they used the pin particles from Ant-Man, so it actually was shrunken and then expanded when it came through.
That's not the part that I have a problem with. Like,
Oh.
it expanded when it came through, but it expanded into the machine and broke the machine. So the one ship made it through fine, but the rest of it, the machine's broken. Like, it doesn't matter how many particles you have. That doesn't explain how the entire planet came through. And also, if they shot down the Avengers headquarters, then it became an entire barren wasteland of battlefield.
Yeah.
That was also, I mean, I'm not nitpicking now, that was just funny. Just to wrap up, even when he had tried to explain that, like, I did this for you so that you could thrive, but you're ungrateful because you miss what was.
Yeah.
Now I want to restore the universe again to start from fresh so that this new life is grateful for what I've given them instead of what I've taken away because they wouldn't know what I took away. I was like, again? Yes, Thanos! Like, how? Like, yes, you're absolutely right. Like, especially humans, like, we do have that, like, lingering, like, oh, we don't want that person to die because that person's related to me, but if some other motherfucker dies, you're like, that's sad. You know what I mean? Like,
sorry for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know when Thanos did the snap in Infinity War, it was completely random, but in the movie, it seemed like if they did the snap and focused on a particular group of people, only those people would fade away because they did the snap to bring everybody back. And if Tony did the snap.
Yeah, but that's what he wanted. So if you're wearing
so
the
can
glove,
you control it like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's why it's so much power that it killed him. Because whatever, Thanos wanted it to be random. There was no mathematical equation for that. He was like random 50%. Because if he wanted it to be like that forever, he would be like random 50 and all of the superheroes. You know what I mean? In his head.
Yeah.
But he wasn't vindictive like that.
He
was
became
trying to
vindictive when they tried to mess up his plan.
But his plan was to make the world a better place, even though it was like on his terms, whatever. But when Tony did it and he erased all of Thanos' people, that also made sense because Hulk already did it and he brought everyone back. When they were dust, was it the same like the quantum realm where it felt like 5 hours or 5 seconds, or was it nothingness and they woke up when the Hulk snapped, and then that's why Doctor Strange told Peter Parker, Captain America needs us.
Yeah, I think.
So they ceased to exist.
I feel like the time
and
between
it started.
I think the time between they dusted and the time where they came back seemed like literally only a moment.
So then would they have aged 5 years?
Nah, dust don't age, bro. Like if you dust,
okay, so
it does. And remember, Peter Parker when he was talking to Tony Stark, he was like, he's like, this happened and I turned to dust. Like he literally remembered the events that happened 5 years ago, like it just happened a minute ago.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So he's still in high school. He didn't age at all. Neither did Doctor Strange, but like Bruce Banner aged and Black Widow aged, like everyone else aged 5 years, right? Yeah. Okay. The only thing I wasn't really happy with was Thor joining the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I actually like that.
That was such a letdown for me. I mean, okay, great, you gave Valkyrie the throne, that's great, and like he wants to do what he wants instead of what he needs. Also great, but Guardians of the Galaxy, like, what?
As Guardians of the Galaxy and in Infinity War, y'all saw how Peter Quill and Thor were playing off one another. So I think he's actually a great addition, especially after Ragnarok.
Yeah, but that happened. It's over. Like, it's not funny anymore.
No, it's gonna continue. It's gonna be much better. We might even see Beta Ray Bill. Who knows? I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
What's our rating?
1 is a no, 2 is a yes,
Wow,
or is it the other way around?
Memory does not serve you any good. 1 is a yes.
1 is a yes. Are you sure?
I believe so.
No,
I'm saying.
he's
And
wrong.
then,
Anyway,
alright guys.
thank you guys for watching. We'll see you soon.
Let us know what you guys think. If you guys picked up on anything that we missed.
Yes,
in the
please.
comment section.
Please do.
I did the real CEO.
He been the CEO. Now I'm the CEO.
Wow.
Thank you guys for watching Behind the Struggle. We'll see you next time.